Yes, people, welcome back to the SPTC podcast. As always, I'm your host, Jay Mcintosh, joined by Mr. Simon Phillips. He's back. Si, how are you doing?
I'm good, mate. It's good to be back, to be honest. It's been, I reckon, about 4 weeks since I've been on here.
Yeah, it has been a while. I mean, to be fair, that's mainly my fault because I've been tiptoeing across Asia. But
yeah,
alas, we're back. Again, thank you to Daniel, Charles, Danny, Luke, everyone that sort of jumped in to help me whilst I've been dotted around. As I said on the previous few podcasts, Chinese internet laws are difficult to manage if you're not used to them. So thank you everyone for bearing with me. And I actually said just before we started recording, which is why Si looks less happy than he usually does, is because I was going to wind Simon up about something. We don't have long. I don't think Gyökeres are looking that good, Si.
Is that what it is it? Now, come on, Jay. We know not to write players off this early.
Sorry. That's true. It's true. Although it's quite nice that he doesn't look so good because Arsenal look great in fairness, but he's not looking ideal. But I'm not sure how many new signings are looking particularly good anyway at the moment.
I want you to be right. I obviously want you to be right.
Yeah, of course.
Arsenal player. So yeah, hopefully you will be. And come end of the season, we can look back at it and hopefully we can say, yes, Jay, you were right. Simon was wrong.
If he signed for Chelsea, I wanted to be proved wrong. But if he's at Arsenal, hopefully I'm proved right.
Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Right, we don't have long. Si, as always, is on father duties and busy with other commitments. But we will jump into things. I think we still are enjoying the sort of post-coital glow of Chelsea beating Liverpool, which is very nice. Si, how do you feel now? It's been sort of a while since the game, but I think the general good vibes are still there, which is, as Danny and I and Daniel, Charles and I sort of spoke about, Chelsea had the opportunity to control the narrative going into the international break should they beat Liverpool, and they did beat Liverpool. And so I think things are a bit nicer than they potentially could have been, right?
Yeah, it means more when you go into an international break and you've had a big win like that. And it just, because before the last games before this one and before the Benfica game, the 4 games before that, they weren't great. People started, talking again and the negativity was there. But I think Chelsea needed that important bounce back, and the fact that they could do that. And then there's no game this weekend, so we can kind of enjoy it a bit longer and a bit more, I think was good. But it also annoys me that people are just so flip-flop in their opinions. Like, it was only a couple of weeks ago that the articles were out about Maresca, being under pressure and everyone's calling for his head. And now all of a sudden, it's all good again and the articles are complimentary. I just wish people would really maintain more of a level head with supporting Chelsea this season, because it's going to be up and down. We're going to be inconsistent still. That's just what happens with young players and the squad that we built. A lot of new players coming in. So I think people just need to expect that we're not going to be beating the best teams like Liverpool every single week. There's going to be much tougher games to come. And it is going to be, if you look at the league now, we're in 6th still. It's not, we would rather be higher than that. So we do need to maintain this. But to go back to your original question, yeah, the feeling is very good. And I sense it in the community here at the moment. Everyone's positive and it's great. But we all know that a loss or 2 losses and everything's going to change again. So, yeah, I think we just need to stay a bit more level-headed with how things are going to be this season.
I agree. I can't remember who said it, some sort of voice in football, that this was Maresca's biggest win for Chelsea. I'm not sure I agree. I think the PSG win in the Club World Cup finals are a bigger win, but the game, Maresca outcoached Slot, I think, is the key takeaway. I'm sure we've all seen the analysis, whether you've watched Match of the Day or whatever sort of service you get analysis from. Chelsea and Maresca understood the vulnerability in fullback areas. Knew Salah wouldn't press, were able to isolate 2v1, and that was the sort of the way to go. And obviously Cucurella with the assist, I thought I was quite impressed with everyone, to be honest with you. But a sort of lovely assist, and that I think that assist capped off and really showed the lack of Salah press, the vulnerability in fullback areas. Slot has clearly been messing around with Bradley, Szoboszlai, and Frimpong at right back. Clearly doesn't trust anyone there. Kirkes doesn't look as good at Liverpool as he did at Bournemouth. It will take some time for him to adjust. Robertson, I mean, he's old. Van Dijk looked off it. I think most people at Liverpool looked kind of off it. They had a sort of brief period where I thought, okay, here we go. They could be really doing something here, but they didn't. And actually, I think what Maresca got more correct than Slot also was his substitutes, which is something that he's been criticised for recently. Before we come on to those substitutes, in terms of the team that started the game, any standout players? I mean, those that are watching will see the ticker along the bottom. I'm beginning to really think that Caicedo might be Chelsea's best player.
Yeah, I think he has been for a while. I mean, he got player of the season last season. I think, Cole Palmer is obviously Chelsea's most creative and dangerous player. But when you're looking at overall consistency and, in terms of putting in performances every single game, Caicedo's been the only one who has been top level consistent game after game. I mean, we spoke about Cole Palmer last season where he lost a bit of form, didn't he, for a while, and everyone started questioning. But Caicedo's never done that. He's never dipped in form. He's always been there, turning up every single game. And in terms of injuries as well, we've got to say that because we've got loads of injuries right now. We were doing quite well until 2 or 3 weeks ago. But now we've got abundance of injuries. But Caicedo again is the one who's just there every single game, ready to play 90 minutes, and and not just playing 90 minutes, but literally bossing that midfield. I don't think that's a debate. I think he is, on current form anyway, Chelsea's overall best player.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I also thought Enzo had a really good game too. I think Enzo's been magnificent all of 2025, to be honest with you. I think he looks like the player we were hoping to buy. I'm really big on Enzo. I think he's been wonderful, and he was unlucky not to score. Again, his pass to Cucurella for Cucurella to make this assist, really intelligent, nice little piece of play. I think for Caicedo and Enzo to both look like they're reaching their peak or reaching a level we were hoping to get for them. I mean, Caicedo, I honestly think is the best holding midfielder in the world currently. I don't think he's the best midfielder in the world, although he would be in my sort. If I had to build a current best world 11, he would be in my midfield 3. But I think in the Premier League, he's there's always debates between him and Rice. I don't really care. I like Rice as a football player too. I'm an England national team fan, so I like it when Rice does well. Whatever. I think Arsenal probably win the Premier League this season, and I think they probably deserve to win it if they do. But yeah, I think Caicedo is probably the cream of the crop at the moment, and actually, what he's beginning to add to his game is goals. He's got 3 of them in 7 games already, and his goal catalogue is nice, man. He scores some nice goals. It's really, really good to see. And like I said, Enzo very good as well. I suppose I was asking about the starting 11, so we'll stick with it for now because I want to talk about Lavia, as you can see it on the bottom, but who was stunning when he came on. But just maybe a word about the backline side, because Badiashile coming off, Achimpong coming off, but both being very impressive. Wait, did Achimpong come off? Yeah, he did come off, right?
Yeah, both did.
I thought Reece looked unreal, as expected. And Cucurella, obviously, I think now, I don't think there's a single Chelsea fan that has any doubts about him. So I think what are your sort of thoughts in that area?
Yeah, I was remembering back actually to the point where Cucurella changed this morning, or changed everyone's mindset. And also it was Gary Neville, wasn't it, commented on him and saying that Spain aren't going to win the Euros, or was it the Euros or the World Cup? Euros, I think it was, wasn't it? Because they've got Marc Cucurella in the team, and then he literally goes on to have an amazing tournament. And it's from that point that he just improved and got consistent and basically became one of Chelsea's most important players. And everyone basically now rates him very highly, and rightly so. But yeah, he was superb. I thought he handled Salah very well, but not just that though. Going forward, he was great. Obviously, you mentioned the assist, which was just brilliant, right in the dying moments of the game. But the whole back line, and this is the difference for me. I think our defence has not been that great recently, and during that little mini slump that we had with those 4 games I spoke about earlier, the back line were all over the place, and there was no real organisation. But watching this game, I felt a lot more comfortable, a lot safer with how everyone was playing. Badiashile, another player who has been criticised a lot lately, during his whole time really at Chelsea. I think he was very good. He was very calm on the ball, and he's got that progressive pass, and he's always looking to play that pass through the lines. Mcintosh does that as well in terms of bringing the ball out from the back. So in those 2 profiles, you've got different types of players, but players who like to play Maresca ball as such because they progress with it and they bring it forward. And I think either of them can literally do that central role that Maresca talks about. But it's early days. Badiashile has had some very bad performances in his Chelsea career. So I'm not
shockers.
I think most people would have been okay if we sold him in the summer, to be honest.
Completely.
So it's early days of him. It's early days with Josh as well. We can't heap too much pressure on him. He's a young player. Maresca hasn't really backed him yet. It'd be interesting if he does now, because I think he's done enough to deserve another start. So it'll be interesting to see if Maresca puts his trust in him. But those 2, I think, really elevated our performance against Liverpool. And it's the difference maker, isn't it? When you've got a solid back line, everything else just connects together. And that's what we've been lacking lately. And those 2 deserve high praise. You already said Reece James, who we all know is just world class on his day. And it's just been great to see him consistent and have a sustained run of games. I think it's since December he's played now.
He's like 9-10 months into not being made of glass. It's actually quite nice. I don't really want to tell anything about it, but it's good.
So we won't talk too much about that. We don't want to curse it, but it's been great to see him back. But I think the back line just held everything together on Saturday.
Yeah, agreed. And I think actually that's the Cucurella Reece James being such a successful wide selection. That provides security in the middle, even when things had to change and Reece had to go in, Gus had to go right back. I think Hato as well looked good when he came on. Again, there's a player who's played over 100 times for Ajax, and he's 19. He's not a joke. It just takes players a little bit of time to get used to the league. And actually, Daniel Childs and I were talking on the previous pod that you remember with Rudiger. Rudiger was not great at Chelsea for a while. And then turned into be really good. And that might just be the fact that a lot of defenders struggle to adapt to big teams in the league because it's not an easy place to be. And like I say, the cream rises to the top, and hopefully Hato and hopefully Mcintosh get those chances because they'll deserve them. I think Hato is probably gonna play after the international break, depending on when players are back and when players are fit. But we'll see. Okay. Before we talk about any additional substitutions, Garnacho getting a lot of loving, isn't he?
Yeah, I thought he was very good. I mean, I mentioned this in a post the other day. I still want to see, and then I know it'll come with time. Like, you've got to give these players time, but I still want to see him be braver and take more risks on the ball. But in terms of his threat and him being an outlet, I thought he was our best outlet in that game. Sanchez was looking for him all the time. Yeah. And when he did get the ball, he was always keeping it. He would never lose. I don't think he lost the ball once. He was always either recycling it or moving it into a good position. So I think in terms of performance, this was his best so far in a Chelsea shirt easily. His best for a little while as well in terms of his whole career. But I just want to see that bit more from him now. I think he's ready. He's settled in. He's comfortable. His teammates are trusting him. They're looking for him. I'd like to see him, try and take a player on now or make that pass into the middle and try and set up some goals as well, because I think he's got another level that he can go up. But it's a very comfortable start from him for sure. I just want to see him now just do a little bit more on the ball in that final third.
Yeah, and actually, he hit the post, didn't he, of that shot? And I thought he was really unlucky. And my favourite football journalist in the world, other than Mr. Simon Phillips, is Musa Okwonga. And Musa is a co-host of a podcast called Stadio that I would recommend people listen to after they've listened to this all the way to the end, obviously. But he spoke in the recent episode there about how Garnacho looks like a Chelsea player, how he just seems happier to be at Chelsea than he was at United. And I think you can see that. And I thought Gittins did well when he came on as well. He's coming for heavy criticism. I think Gittins is a player that's going to take some time. But Garnacho kind of looks ready. And like you say, it's his best performance in a while, be that in a Chelsea or Manchester United shirt. And to have your best performance against the reigning champions is very, very promising in my opinion. He gave whoever was at right back for Liverpool, obviously Bradley to start with, then Szoboszlai, which I always think is a weird person to put right back. He did not give them the space, and obviously, as we spoke about earlier, Maresca had obviously understood that Salah's not going to press. By the way, actually, I think that's the worst game I've ever seen Salah play.
Yeah, he was awful.
2-3 years ago, we probably don't win that game because he finishes 2 of 3 of those chances.
Yeah.
He was absolutely stinking, and that's the first time I've ever seen him drop a performance that bad in the Premier League that I can remember. And as I always get told, I'm a Liverpool fan apparently, but he was shocking. He was really poor. But yeah, Garnacho, I think, was really impressive. I think he's probably locked in to start when football comes back. We've got Forest after the international break.
We do.
Forest, who I hate this 007 stuff, but obviously Postecoglou's now 7 games without a win for Forest. Forest really, really struggling. So we'll see what happens there. But I think Garnacho is probably due a start. I want to talk about 3 more players side before we talk about a few other things. The players I really would like to focus on predominantly are Lavia and Estevao. And I'd like to start with Lavia because it's so frustrating this guy is not fit more often. Because he's unbelievable. Like the now with what we were talking about sort of 10 minutes ago with how good Enzo looks, I like Enzo in the 10 as well. As an 8-10, I really like him there. And he's obviously a very different profile to Cole, whatever, but like I like him there. I like that he crashes the box. I like that he looks more physical. I like his passing. I think he has been our second best player of 2025 outside of Caicedo, in my opinion. Obviously, Cole and Cucurella are in there too. But that triptych of Lavia, Caicedo, and Enzo is so nice. And like Lavia coming on, the body feints, the movements, that he's so intelligent. And actually, there was clips going around social media. Cole Palmer interview he was asked who's the most underrated player, and he said Romeo. And oh man, he is so good, isn't he?
He's just he's a superb footballer to watch. I think any fan of any team would just enjoy watching Lavia play football. He's so classy and smooth, and in terms of like how he controls the ball and runs with the ball, it's similar kind of dribbling to the Messi. How the ball sticks to his foot.
He's smooth, man.
Yeah, I mean, if he was a winger, I think he would play similar to Messi or Hazard or a winger like that, because dribbling wise, as you say, he's just so smooth with the ball, and it's been such a frustrating period since he joined. I think he came in August 2023, and since then I did an article this morning, so I know the stats. He's only played 19 Premier League games for Chelsea since that point, and that's mad. I mean, we paid 53 million plus add-ons. He's definitely worth that if he can stay fit.
Yeah, 100%.
He'd be worth more than that if he can sustain that fitness. But we just need him to be more available because, like you say, that midfield 3. I think Jason Cundy was talking about it on his on TalkSport earlier on, and he was saying about how that pivot with Lavia and Caicedo is just mouthwatering, and Enzo in front of them is just a really tight and solid midfield 3 that gives you pretty much all you need. I think you've got Caicedo breaking up, you've got Lavia who can do a bit of everything, and then you've got Enzo, a bit further forward doing that more creative stuff.
Yeah, and actually, I think you mentioned there, sort of looking at Lavia statistically. When you're so used to looking at football stats as the two of us are, and you go sort of in depth and behind the numbers, that you get a picture, you basically get an ability to read football data that allows you to sort of identify what type of player this player is. And I know that sounds kind of obvious, but just with Lavia a second in his limited minutes, he ranks in the top 5% of players in Europe, top 7% of players in Europe for 3 things. That's pass completion, that's successful take-ons, and that's interceptions. And when a player has really high interceptions, it means they read the game very well. That also aligns really nicely with his ability to take players on. His accuracy at passing just elucidates the fact that he's a supremely intelligent football player. And he's extremely young still. And the injuries have been a real problem, but the potential there is absolutely bombastic. Like, he looks crazy good every time he's played for Chelsea, pretty much. I think we look like a better team with him in it. And that's real testament, because, like we said, you might not agree with my Enzo taking being alongside Caicedo as the best player in the team for 2025, but for those two being the nexus of the squad, to have Lavia in it and being a better team too, I think is real testament to his ability. So huge respect to Lavia, and I know the whole fan base really likes him. And I can't help but think, do you remember, we all see it every time Chelsea play Liverpool, that graphic of Caicedo, Enzo and Lavia in Liverpool kits. And they're all at Chelsea, and it's just the midfield when it's those three is arguably the best midfield in the league. I really like Arsenal's midfield too. Please don't shout at me, but their midfield's really good. Zubimendi, what a football player. But yeah, it's beautiful what we see there. And then, as we've mentioned, with Garnacho on the left, who's probably due a start. And I do think Pedro Neto is being hard done by the way, because I think he's been very good. But Estevao, it's probably about time.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's been managed so well, and it's important to say that. And that's on Enzo Maresca. He's decided that he's going to ease him in slowly, and it's been great for someone of that age. Because, I mean, like you said earlier, players coming over from different countries to a different league, young players, he's only just turned 18. So it could have gone really bad for him. He could have taken a very long time to settle. But Enzo's eased him in off the bench. He's been playing here and there, getting the odd minutes, coming on, doing some bits, making a difference. And I think that he's been perfectly managed. And I think that's part of the reason why we're seeing him, really thrive now. And also he backs himself. You can see that he's so confident in his own ability and got such a strong mentality. He's so grounded for his age. It's quite rare to see an 18-year-old who is so intelligent and grounded and focused on what he wants to do. And it's like he's got his whole career set out and all planned, and he's doing it, and he's reaching goal after goal. And I think he has done enough now to get that start. As you say, would be harsh on Neto, but there's a decision there. Does he start on the other side, and what happens with Garnacho? But that's for another conversation and for Maresca to decide. But I think
that's a good headache, by the way.
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, he's got those headaches all over the pitch, hasn't he? Now, well, not with the injuries, but when everyone's back and fresh, he's got those
indeed. I actually think with Estevao again, the sort of numbers are mental. Like, progressive carries per 90 is at 6.23 per 90. Like, Messi's at 5.2 in the MLS. Like, that is mental high. Like, that is crazy high. Like, his progressive passes recover. Like, he is on the end of progressive passes all the time. Like, his touches in the attacking penalty area. I mean, he's on the best in the world at getting touches in the attacking penalty area already. He's 18. Like, his combined non-penalty expected goals and assists is in the top 5% in Europe already. And even his successful take-ons, he's on like 3 a game. Messi's at 3.4. And Messi's aging, but he's in an easier league. He's the greatest player of all time. That's just to sort of highlight the fact that, like, his technical abilities, unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable, and he can score. And what I like about Estevao is, I think, and this is something that it's hard to quantify now, but I think may bear out in his future career at Chelsea, and for example at Palmeiras. Like, he scored for Palmeiras against us, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like, and he scored the winner against Liverpool there. And those two things, I think, is so integral for any football player, but specifically at Chelsea, who I think are more of a tournament team than a league team. I know people don't like it when I say that, but I think that's normally the case. A silverware club, rather necessarily than a predominantly less focused on a league all-the-time club. he is a moments football player. Cucurella is one of those too. And Caicedo is becoming one also. Like, Estevao has the ability to capture moments. And that is so valuable in football. And there's so many players that are vastly more experienced that can't do that. It's almost something you can't teach, you can't buy. Certain players, it's like the Drogba thing's a perfect example. Like, he's not a volume scorer in the way other strikers are. You know, Vardy's got more Premier League goals than Drogba. Vardy, again, a moments player, but Drogba's got 9 goals in 9 finals. As a moments player, you know, when the moment is there, he is the person that steps into it. I feel like Estevao is a moments footballer in the way that currently Pedro Neto, who's been brilliant, I don't think he's a moments player. Like, Garnacho can be, but I don't think he is in the same way. Estevao is a moments player. Cucurella is a moments player. Even someone like Marcos Alonso, moments player. And they're really, really, really valuable to Chelsea, more so than other clubs, I think. And that's a trait that you can't measure statistically, but I think with Estevao is something that's really there and really present, right? Don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
No, those stats are insane for Estevao. I mean,
they are nuts.
You can see how well he's playing with your eyes, but those stats are just they're much better than I even thought they would be.
Have you just taken a quick Google whilst we're chatting?
No, I was listening to you saying that. That's mad.
They are unbelievable. Like, they are so good. Even things like his shot creating actions. So the things he does that leads either himself or other players to take a shot on goal. He's in the top 8% in the world already. Like, he does on average 5 to 6 shot creating actions per game. That's really, really, really high. It might sound low, but it's not. When you look at stats in a game, like, it's teams that have 10, 12, 15 shots. Like, he can be responsible for a third of those every time he plays. That's one player. Yeah. Like, and let's face it, if in this Chelsea team, Cucurella shoots, Reece shoots, all the midfielders shoot, all the attackers shoot. Like, he can create 5 to 6 of those a game. That puts him in the best in the world at doing that. Yeah. And he's 18. Like, and he actually will get better and better. Like, he is a joke. And I think physically, the Brazilian league translates really nicely to the Premier League. And what I like to see with Estevao is the Neymar comparisons. I don't think are necessarily helpful, because I think Neymar is probably one of the greatest players to have ever played the game. So Estevao's got a long way to go to ever get to that level. But like, you can see that he's kind of ready, built for a tough league. But what I like about Estevao compared to, say, someone like Neymar is he's come to the Premier League, which is not normally the path for young Brazilian talent. We obviously get Brazilian talent in the Premier League, but not in the same way that they go to usually La Liga. And that's because of Barcelona, Real Madrid are so well followed in Brazil, as are Betis, as are Atletico, etc. Like that. The La Liga is more watched there than the Premier League, I think. But to see him do that in a sort of hazard way in the Premier League is genuinely really great to see. And I hope he stays injury free, because I think actually Chelsea probably have the most exciting young player in the Premier League in Estevao. And I think I can see him doing a sort of Cole Palmer, slowly bedded in, but then relatively quickly realised that you can't go without him anymore. So he has to start playing. And I think he's ready for a big tackle if it comes in. I think he's going to be there to score goals and get assists, and that's only going to increase as we go on. I think actually a player like Delap will be really helpful for him too.
Sure.
One player I want to talk about before we go, Si, Mark Guiu came on, so that means he's going to be at Chelsea for the rest of the season. It's been a little bit tricky for him to get game time at the moment, but are you hoping to see him sort of play more? Like, I don't know when Delap is back. João Pedro, obviously, we all like. I've seen him getting a few critiques online, but I think that's just Twitter being shit. But Guiu's here to stay for the season now.
Yeah, and I think we'll need him. I mean, he's not been used yet, but there was some political stuff why he wasn't used straight away. So I think now that political stuff is gone, and I think he will be used more by Maresca. And I think we need him. Like you mentioned Pedro, and Pedro's not necessarily done anything wrong. He's just not going to be that number 9, back to goal, who's going to hold the ball up. We've seen him try and do it a few times and just get dispossessed or make the wrong pass, and it's just not his game. He needs to be facing the goal, in my opinion, and coming a bit deeper and being a bit more useful. I think I always see him more of a 10 than a 9.
Me too.
So you need that other profile that we're now missing with the Lap, and the reason we obviously signed the Lap is because he is that focal point. He is that physical guy who's going to be in the box more, and even having his back to the goal and holding the ball up and bringing other players into play, which you need in an attacking sense. And I do want to see more of you to come in and hopefully provide that. But the thing is with him, I've not really seen enough of him overall anyway to say that, yeah, he's definitely going to make a difference. So, but what he does add is the physicality, the hunger, the pressing. Like, I haven't seen a more intense pressing 9 than him at the moment. Yeah. He's crazy when he fixates on the ball. Like, even if he's just gone, and it's great to see that. And I think that is a real asset to have if we're chasing a game, if we're looking for a goal to throw him on, late on and change things up. But I do want to see more of him, and I think we will now going forward, and letting Pedro come deeper or taking him off, let him have a rest, because he was struggling with a knock as well last week. So yeah, we're definitely going to need him.
Yeah, and let's not forget again, he was born in 2006, so like he's only 19 too, and he's been raised in Barca, but doesn't really look like a Barca player. But he's got the technical ability to be there, and I agree. When you watch him press, you kind of like, oh, I get it. I kind of understand this, and if he can add that sort of quality finishing to his game, which I think he can do. Obviously, he's top scorer in the Conference League. I think he'll probably take his chances, and I like him. He makes me happy to watch. So hopefully he succeeds. Si, listen, I know we don't have much more time left, so before we go, any plugs for any content?
A few bits have come out today on the site, and obviously it's going to be a quiet one this weekend with no games on. I might do an international live discussion thread. If anyone wants me to do one, put it in the comments for any game. I'm assuming it will be England, but yeah, put it in the comments if you want me to set one up, and I will. Yeah.
And before we go, because I know you do need to go, Si, I spoke on the podcast over the last few weeks about players outside of Chelsea that I've been enjoying watching. Julian Alvarez being one of them. I actually tweeted about El Khanous the other day. So fun to watch. I've been on about Uzun as well at Frankfurt and a few other players. You enjoying Jackie Grealish?
I knew you were going to say that, mate. I knew that was coming. Man, he's been so good.
He's class, isn't it?
Yeah, he's always been class, and I get it. He played a different style of football at Man City, and now he's at Everton. He actually said that Moyes told him just to play where you want.
Yeah. You want. He's so clear about the pep tax, isn't it? Like it's. Yeah. I don't think anyone blames him for what happened at City. Like, and he won the treble there and was great for them as well. But just it's the pep thing. But now he's at Everton. It's like, oh yeah, nice. It's so good to see, isn't it?
Yeah, playing with freedom, and that's the kind of player he is. Some players just need that, and he's definitely one of those players that needs it. And like we said about earlier on with the England connection, I reckon he'll be knocking on that door again soon. And
100%. And again, I think people with Grealish, just quickly, I think people misunderstand. I think people say with Grealish, he needs to be a big fish in a small pond. I actually think that's BS. I just think he needs to be given license. He can play a massive team and it's no drama. He's not phased by it. It's just he's not given the license to do what he can do. Whereas at a quote unquote slightly smaller club, he's able to have that license because he's technically superior to everyone else. And as I've mentioned over the last few podcasts, the Marcus Rashford watch, he's loving life, and I like Rashford. If you haven't seen his goal, by the way, Barcelona, you love to see it, got battered by Sevilla 4-1 in the league. But Rashford's goal, if you've not seen it, go and look at it. It's a lovely goal, and obviously Harry Kane is still the best player in the world. So things have been very good here. Right, that's everything. Si, we'll be back next Thursday. I will actually be back in the UK, so things will be a little bit easier. I'll stop globetrotting for a little bit. But thank you so much for joining us, guys. Thank you for listening. Go and check out the articles that Si mentioned. Let us know in the comments if you want Si to do some international break, sort of live stuff. Go and check out Rashford's goal if you haven't, because it's really nice. And we'll be back next Thursday. Until then, bye-bye.